All right, Professor Fields here. This section we're going to talk about Chapter 1 in Module Learning Outcome number 1.2. We're going to summarize why there's not an exact definition for crime and how crime is defined in our society and how definitions might change over time. Common definition of crime, as it says on the screen there, is breaking the law for which there's some kind of penalty, some kind of punishment involved. In California, we have a number of different codes. If you take criminal law, you'll study all the different codes. I've pictured the penal code here. We have the vehicle code, the health and safety code dealing with drugs, welfare and institutions dealing with children, business and professions dealing with sales of alcohol. We have a lot of different codes here in California, and there's usually a punishment for any kind of crime that's prescribed for that. So how do we determine criminal behavior? Well, there's two general theories. One is mala in se, Latin term which means basically that it's wrong by its very nature. So you think about crimes that are wrong by their very nature. Murder, got a picture of a knife there, robbery, rape, stealing things. Those are crimes by their very nature that we as a society agree that, hey, you know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Those are wrong. Although we'll talk about homicide in a later chapter, about how sometimes homicide is justified, whether it be by the government or in self-defense. And then we have mala-prohibited crime. Those are crimes that we as a society have determined that, hey, you probably shouldn't do this crime. It's bad for society. I've got a picture here of a young lady distracted driving. She's talking while texting, which is against the law, doing her makeup, drinking her coffee, doing everything but driving. So we've decided this type of behavior is not good for society because people get killed in traffic collisions or hurt in traffic collisions. And they're different based on geographical regions. This is not a class on constitutional law, but if you go back to constitutional law, you know a theory called states' rights. Each state has its own right for the most part, to say what's going to be criminal activity in their state. Some examples here are assisted suicide. In California right now it's illegal. The state legislature is actually looking at that right now, and it may become legal or it may not. But in other states such as Washington, it is legal. Death penalty. It's not universal. California still has a death penalty. Several other states don't. We'll talk about that in a later chapter. Marijuana laws. California, marijuana is still illegal. You can get a medical marijuana card that can allow you to use it for medical marijuana purposes, and it's a rebuttable defense. We'll talk about that later on in criminal law. But it's not legal in California, whereas in Colorado it's perfectly legal. You want to go out to the bar and have a beer? Have at it. You want to go out to the marijuana shop and get high? Have at it. Some acts are illegal for minors, but they're legal for adults. They're called status offenses, such as smoking, drinking, underage sex. By the way, folks, in background investigations for police officer, underage sex gets a lot of folks in trouble. You cannot consent to sexual activity under the age of 17, whether you be the person, whether you want to call it consensual or not. It cannot be consensual if it's under the age of 18. So if you're 19 or 20 years old and got a 16-year-old girlfriend, you're committing a crime. Actually, if you're 18 and got a 17-year-old girlfriend or boyfriend, you're committing a crime. And crime definitions change over time. Adultery used to be illegal. You saw Ashley Madison in the news the last few weeks about the release of data from all the people that were cheating on their spouses. Gay marriage. Gay marriage was illegal in California up until 2008. The voters in California affirmed the fact they did not want gay marriage. However, the Supreme Court overturned it in 2015. They overturned, so now gay marriage is legal in all states. So it changes over time. So that's it for this learning outcome. We'll move on to other learning outcomes in the next section.